Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes, powered by gpac. gpac, growing people and companies. I'm your host, Nick Cornder, Assistant Commissioner at the Northern Sun. Today we're joined by the reigning NSIC Offensive Player of the Week, Dawson Forgy of the Wayne State football team. Dawson, thanks for joining us on Spotlight.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, as we do each week, let's start with you telling us a bit about yourself.
Dawson, I'm a junior here at Wayne State. I plan on getting into the strength and conditioning field. Gonna do an internship around here with our coach, our strength coach here, and then get into grad school and start the coaching life.
Sounds great. Oh, native of Winterset, Iowa. Why did you choose Wayne State to further your academic and athletic career?
The main factor for me when I was coming down to decision time was just the relationship that I had with the coaches here. I felt, in the recruiting process, they were very straightforward with me. They weren't telling me things that didn't come true, and they were just honest with me. Good people to be around too. My parents enjoyed being with them. So it really just came down to I felt like I could trust them and really felt like I belonged here. It's kind of the part.
Well, it's been working out the last few seasons for you. And last weekend is a big win for the Wildcats. You knock off 3-0 MSU Moorhead, coming off a road loss against Northern State. How was the preparation different for this road game up in Moorhead against a high-powered offense?
I think the big thing was, when you go on the road and we didn't play well like that, it's easy for teams to kind of implode and for to have that take you down the wrong path. And it was a big fact. It was a big thing for us to just not let that happen, to stay focused on what we needed to do. We had really good energy in practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We had good practices. We just stayed focused on what we needed to do. Didn't let the season explode after 1 week. We just kept our head down, kept grinding, had good energy, had good work ethic, and things worked out in the end.
Great weekend for you as you rushed for over 200 yards, including a 78-yard touchdown. You built a 24-point lead in the first half. You were seeing early success hitting the edges of that defense. Was there something you saw in film that knew that was a vulnerability for them?
I wouldn't say necessarily. The big thing with playing Moorhead is they have so much crazy stuff going on their defense. They got loopers and twists and blitz happening constantly. It's just everything. They're trying to just create chaos. So I think the preparation going into the week was mainly for our offensive line and our wide receivers blocking to just stay down your gap, stay with your keys, don't go chase things, just stay down, stay on your path, and whatever comes to you, take the hit, make the block. And so it was just staying with our keys and things were going to open up.
Yeah, so here's your opportunity. You mentioned them a second ago, your offensive line. What do you want to say to them for their blocking this
I
past week?
mean, with what they had to deal with last week, I've never, you never see anything like it when you play Moorhead. They play crazy defenses, they run around, they blitz weird. So them to just stay to their keys, stand down, stay on their path, get the guys they're supposed to get. It really was awesome to see from our guys. Big, big improvement.
Three phases of football. You got offense, defense, and special teams. You got a kicker in Boston Hensley. Bookend the scoring with a pair of field goals. That last one was a big one, put you up 10 late in the game to put it out of reach. How vital is special teams, especially for yourself who returned some kickoffs?
I mean, it's huge. It won us the game right there. I don't know how many carries I had in that drive. I touched the ball every play, though. I was absolutely exhausted coming off the field. I'm like, man, I hope he hits this one. It's like big sigh of relief when that one went through. The amount of, being able to collect yourself in that moment says a lot about Boston. It was, he played a great game.
Yeah, the third phase, the defense. You guys kept the offense off the field with that ball control, but the defense, they came out 7 sacks, 2 picks, one of those early to kind of set the tone. What was their strategy to shut down this high-powered Dragon offense?
Man, that was awesome to watch. That was pretty incredible holding that team to I don't think they scored in the first half or one score. I mean that's pretty incredible. It's one of the most high-powered offenses in the nation. So for them to just get in there and I think one of their big keys was taking away his first read, let our pass rushers get in there. We got some great defensive linemen to get after the quarterback, man. So they did such a good job taking away reads, being super physical, man. They felt like they were just hammering on him every play, breaking them down. And to hold that team to what they did, it was pretty remarkable. I mean, usually scoring, when you score 27 and that, it's not enough to beat Moorhead. You got to score more than that. So it's pretty big, pretty big deal for them.
So, coming off last season, you played in 4 games before an injury ended your season. What did you learn from that injury and that experience, and how did you become a better teammate and player because of it?
Well, when you work so hard, I made some great improvements that off season. I felt like it was a big year for me to really break out, and then something like that happens, just all of a sudden, you're out. It's a big test of your character and who you want to be. It's really easy to just put your head down, get discouraged, go the other way, but still trying to help be a good teammate and then just being away from football, getting a little break, just watching it and not being a part of it, getting to analyze things of the game. You see it from a different perspective. It's the first time I've ever not been playing football in my life and just watching it. So it was a good time to learn a lot, kind of see more of the ins and outs of the games and analyze what I needed to do better moving forward.
I can tell a lot of a student athlete or a player of how they deal with injuries. So glad to hear you rebounded from it. This Saturday, homecoming. You host Southwest Minnesota State at 1 p.m. What do you know about the Mustangs? What are keys to victory this Saturday?
Well, the Mustangs, they, got a three down front. A lot of times they do some weird stuff on defense, moving around. So just gonna same thing as last week. We got to stick to our keys. We got to run the ball well, hit our shots off of it, throw the ball well. Just stick to what we need to do. When we focus on us and do our job, we're pretty hard to beat. So,
Come Saturday, any special routines, superstitions that you have to do before a football game?
uh, I'm actually kind of weird. I'm kind of the opposite. Started in high school. Like if I notice I'm being superstitious about something, wearing the same socks or whatever, I go out of my way to try and change it and to get rid of that superstition. Try not to be superstitious at all. Game day doing, just reading a lot of scripture, praying, hanging out with family. That's a good way to just I like to just call myself, say that's a good routine, not
Yep.
necessarily superstition, but I like being in that routine to just stay calm, be in the moment, be in the right mindset. Um, I like playing Sudoku. That's a good pre-game ritual. Get the game, get the mind going a little bit, burn some time. So I'd say
Oh,
that's
yeah.
my routine. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say big difference between routine and superstition. So it's
exactly.
always
Yeah.
good to have a good routine. Final question I got for you today. What's the best piece of advice you've received during your athletic career?
Oh, there was Coach Masters says it all the time, but he talks about, the difference between choosing your pain, whether you want your pain during discipline or pain of regret. So do you want getting your pain from being disciplined and doing the day-to-day hard stuff it takes to be a champion and then get a better outcome, or are you going to take things easy, just kind of go with the motions, and then your pain comes with the outcome? So how are you going to handle yourself in the day-to-day? I like that one.
Yeah, basically preparation first, and that'll help the outcome. Some great
Exactly.
advice
Yeah.
right there. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks again to our sponsor, gpac. Dawson, best of luck to you and the Wildcats the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.